Hey, church girl. There's a quiet fear many faithful women carry that rarely gets named out loud. It's not the fear that you don't love God. It's not the fear that you don't want to obey Him. It's the fear that if you stop performing, people will assume you've stopped believing. And today, I want to talk to the church girl, to the woman who is not walking away from God, not rebelling, not backsliding, but who is deeply tired of performing her faith for approval, reassurance, and belonging. Because here is the truth we don't say enough. You are not disobedient. You are done performing. So if you're new here, welcome to Church Girl Heal. I'm Dr. Brenda, and this space exists for Christian women who love God, serve faithfully, and are learning how to stop bleeding in silence. This is not a place where we shame faith, criticize the church, or glorify burnout. It's a place where we name what often goes unspoken and bring it into the light with wisdom, compassion, and truth. So if your faith is sincere, but your soul feels tired of pretending, you're in the right place. Take a breath. You don't need to brace yourself here, sis. Let's get started. Here is the tension many church girls live inside. You still pray. You still believe. You still want to honor God, but you no longer have the energy to perform spiritual enthusiasm you don't actually feel. You're tired of smiling through exhaustion like, I'm blessed, while your eye is twitching. You're tired of being strong, dependable, and available. Tired of spiritual language that ignores emotional reality. And because you don't see many examples of faithful women who are honest about being tired, you start wondering if something is wrong with you. You ask questions like, am I becoming lukewarm? Or am I losing my fire? Or my personal favorite, God, am I backsliding? Or am I just tired? And church girl, what if the problem isn't your faith at all? What if it's the performance attached to it? Because you see, performance-based faith teaches women how to look obedient without teaching them how to be formed. It rewards visible sacrifice, but ignores invisible strain. It praises consistency without ever asking whether that consistency is sustainable. So church girls learn how to show up even when they are depleted, how to serve while disconnecting from their own needs, and how to keep going long after their soul or spirit has been asking for rest. And when they finally slow down, guilt rushes in. Not because God condemned them, but because performance culture trained them to equate effort with worth. Jesus never asked his followers to perform holiness. He invited them into formation, because formation is slow, it's internal, it's quiet, and honestly, it doesn't always look impressive. Jesus did not reward the loudest prayers of the busiest schedules. In fact, in Matthew 23, he directly confronted people who looked spiritually impressive on the outside, but were empty on the inside. He wasn't gentle about it either. He called out performative faith that cared more about appearance than transformation. That tells us something important. God is not impressed by exhaustion. He is interested in alignment. You know, many church girls are not losing their faith. They are losing their tolerance for pretending to be okay when they're not, pretending to feel joy when they feel numb, pretending that constant serving is life-giving when it's draining them. And the reason this feels so disorienting is because no one taught them how to transition from performance to formation. So instead of recognizing growth, they interpret it as failure. But here's a hard truth that brings freedom when you really sit with it. If your spiritual life requires constant performance to feel valid, something is off. Because God does not require theatrics to confirm obedience. He requires truth. And truth begins with honesty about your limits, your capacity, your season, and your needs. That honesty does not offend God. It invites him closer. In Matthew 23, Jesus confronted the kind of faith that looked holy but neglected the inner life. He wasn't anti-obedience. He was anti-appearance without transformation. And many church girls have been rewarded for appearing strong while quietly unraveling on the inside. That's not maturity. That's survival. Performance keeps you busy, but formation makes you honest. Performance loves a checklist. Formation just wants to know if you are okay today. When you stop performing, it can feel scary. People may not understand your quieter faith. You rest for 5 minutes and suddenly everyone's asking, are you okay spiritually? They may misinterpret your boundaries as distance or your silence as disengagement. But formation often looks like less noise and more depth, less visibility, but more clarity, less proving and more faith, peace. And if peace is suspicious, that's because it's wrong. It's because you're not used to it yet. It's not because it's wrong. It's because you're not used to it yet. Here's the difference. Performing faith says, how does this look? Formed faith says, is this aligned? Performing faith says, I have to keep going so no one questions me. But foundation says, I know who God is asking me to be in this season. Performance keeps you overextended, while formation keeps you grounded. This week, I don't want you to announce anything, explain anything, or justify your shift. I want you to notice where you've been performing instead of listening, where you've been showing up out of fear instead of clarity, where you've been maintaining an image instead of honoring truth, not to shame you, but to free you. Because here's the invitation God is extending to many church girls right now. You don't need to do more to be faithful. You need to be honest enough to be formed. And that process may look quieter, slower, and less impressive to others. But it will feel lighter to you. And that's all that matters to God. So I want to leave you with this, church girl, and I want you to carry it with you this week. If God didn't ask that, we are not doing that anymore. This has been Dr. Brenda with Church Girl Heal. And if you are a church girl learning how to let go of performance without losing your faith, I invite you to stay connected. Until next week, remember this: you are not disobedient. You are becoming honest. And that is where healing begins. And remember, if God didn't ask that, we are not doing that.